We want our children to feel safe. We want them to feel seen. We want them to feel accepted. We want them to know just how loved they are, because we love them. And we can't give that to them if we haven't given it to ourselves. Literally impossible. Because what we believe about ourselves and the way that we think that we're supposed to behave based on our own understanding of what's acceptable and what is safe based on the outside world is what we're accidentally going to pass on to them. So the way that we ensure that our children don't lose connection to their own authentic expression, to their uniqueness, to who they're here to be in the world, is for us to return home to ourself and pour love into ourselves, to rediscover who we are, who we came here to be before the outside world came in and told us all the stories of who we're meant to be and who it's okay to be and what emotions are acceptable and what emotions are unacceptable. Because if we don't look at those stories that we hold in our bodies, in our cells, in our belief systems, in our nervous system, then we're going to pass that on. Every time we look inside at our own discomfort with something and learn to be with that lovingly, we are transforming future generations. We are literally, through being the change, leaving a brighter future for the next generation. Our number one priority and responsibility as leaders, as parents, is to be able to put ourselves first, in the sense of, am I full of myself right now? Am I full of myself so much so that I'm extending that self out into the world? I have so much to give. Or am I running on empty, not looking at my own self, not at home in myself, constantly having my attention on fixing things for other people, fixing emotions or behaviours that are or aren't acceptable from a place of fear and worry and exhaustion. I was at a safari park this weekend with my children, and I recognised so many things going on around me, and I recognised myself within them, right? from when I was first on this journey of being a mum. So where I used to come from was when my child was upset, actually I thought that meant something about me as a mum. My success or failure as a parent, sorry, I'm just laughing because I do this and my kids always say 6, 7, you're doing 6, 7, mum, sorry. My success or failure as a parent was based on whether or not they were happy or not. And so when they were unhappy or struggling with something, it was my number one priority at all costs to get them back to a happy place. And that was done through naming feelings, doing all of the right things, in my opinion, right? The right things as they occurred to me to do. But I wasn't actually looking at myself. I wasn't actually looking at my own discomfort. I wasn't being with my own discomfort. And another way of saying that was I was abandoning myself. Which is quite an extreme way of looking at it, possibly. And every time we're not at home, every time we're not present in our own bodies, feeling our own feelings, it's a form of self-abandonment. It's this idea that when this outside thing, maybe it's that my child is behaving or feeling in a certain way, okay, now I'm okay. Now I'm okay. Or simple things like, oh, my house is tidy, now I'm okay. There's little ways and there's big ways. We could be going through a separation, which is something that I have gone through. In my family, I'm divorced. And it was actually the divorce that put me onto this path of being able to really take responsibility for me and my own emotional well-being and my experience, meaning what happens within me, my experience of my life. So when we don't do this, we accidentally pass on, you must perform in a certain way in order to be accepted. When you behave or feel this way, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're frustrated, then you're going to lose love in that moment. You're going to lose connection in that moment. That's not consciously what we're doing, right? But that's the message. That's the underlying transmission that we are giving and passing on. But the great news is that no matter how old our kids are, we can start to really do that work, to take that responsibility and to name it, depending on how old they are. There's conversations that can be had where we really take ownership of our own state. And as we do that, we model that. And as we do that, that has a compound effect on them. As we become the source of safety and stability within ourselves, uncircumstantially, you can behave however you behave, and I'm going to love you and accept you right as you are. Not necessarily the behaviors coming from that, but you're safe. So often, and this is what I saw at the safari park, right? And I'm not immune to this 100% of the time either, by the way. So there's no judgment in it. But as we are saying, essentially, stop being so reactive. This behavior, this action, this, like, you're being ridiculous, or, you know, whatever the thing is, because there's frustration, probably exhausted. Don't know the context of any of this, right? But what we're saying is, while we're being reactive to a circumstance around us, while our mood is being impacted by another or by the circumstance, we're saying to these little people, don't be reactive. This is not okay. As that's who we're being. There's no opportunity for change within that for anyone. So the practical application of this is really being able to be at home in yourself, to pause when you notice all that tension coming in, all that judgment of yourself, the fear. Fundamentally, any of the heavier emotions are coming from a fear. So we get to notice that. We get to be with that. And we get to soften and relax within that. Physically. Allow your shoulders to drop. Breathe deeper. Take a few seconds to come home to you. And once your heart rate is down, that's when you can take action. That's when you can communicate. Once you feel that stability and safety within you, you're in a parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system, by using your breath, by softening your body, by remembering that actually your internal state is your responsibility, but only 100% of the time. And then we get to communicate from that place, from the place of internal safety. The words and the actions might actually be the same, but we're not being reactive. And we're being loving within it. And that's felt. And that is such a powerful gift for ourselves, to be so full of ourselves, to have more to give, and to demonstrate, to model to the people that we love, to our children, how to be that for themselves. Because no one can do this for us. And when we have somebody in front of us modeling it, we see what's possible. And especially when they're smaller, without you saying a word, without you having to teach anything or say anything, it goes in. It just does. If you would like to go deeper with this and have some very practical, simple, applicable steps, then there is a link in the description for my mini course, What Your Children Need to Know. It's very powerful, very life-changing training for only £27. And if you would like to explore working together in a more one-on-one way, then I'll leave my email and you can get in touch. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you next week.